Really? And really, you can't make this shit up.
Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is tackling a key issue driving the high cost of living for Coloradans. Whether the one transgender woman in Congress is using the right bathroom. Today, a reporter for Bloomberg News witnessed Boebert bursting out of a women's room at the Capitol, complaining to security that there was a guy in the bathroom, and then returning to investigate with Representative MACe, who led the crusade to block their transgender colleague from using the women's bathroom. The Bloomberg reporter said that Boebert and MACe emerged from the bathroom after concluding their investigation of the gender of the people within. Not sure what all that entailed, but no guy in the women's room. Boebert sent us a statement about her restroom inquisition, saying it was a case of mistaken identity, that she's learned a lesson. And she said it won't happen again.
Now, Lauren Boebert is part of this idiot trifecta, rounded out by Matt the Molester and Dairy Queen.
So I'm very excited about that.
Boebert attacking a member of Congress who happens to be trans is rich, to say the least. Boebert is like a meth head on crack on steroids. She's been arrested twice, and her husband was arrested for exposing himself to teenage girls. And of course, Reach Around Laurie was caught on tape grabbing a guy's junk in a movie theater.
Boebert. Say it 3 times and she appears in security video from a weekend performance of Beetlejuice, where the Congresswoman was kicked out of the theater for being disruptive. The DCPA says she was vaping. Boebert's team denied that, said the haze was from fog machines in the show. That claim goes up in smoke when you see the video. The pregnant woman sitting behind Boebert told the Denver Post she asked her to stop vaping, and Boebert refused. Her one-woman show continued, taking flash photos, raising her hands and dancing, often the only one clapping or standing up in the crowd. Boebert occasionally took a break from being disruptive to enjoy the company of her male companion. He briefly had a grasp on the situation before ushers returned and told Boebert she had to leave.
And of course, what good Republican would dare go through a week without praising Jesus?
They like to say, oh, Jesus didn't need an AR-15. How many AR-15s do you think Jesus would have had? Well, he didn't have enough to keep his government from killing him.
She's f***ing nuts. But like the rest of her spineless posse, the MAGA Republicans are now again attacking trans and LGBT because, well, actually I have no idea. They claim they're doing it to protect the children from men wearing dresses who would prey on their little kids. Whoops.
Standing up against men who are really a bunch of perverts in your locker room, in your bathroom, because they want to have sex with you. That's why they're in there. That's real. They're not saying, oh, I identify as a woman and I'm only attracted to men. That is a lie.
But I still really don't get it. The one trans member of Congress that Boebert and MACe attacked is quiet and just keeps to herself. MACe, by the way, is another horrifying bucket of DNA.
You're full of shit today.
Congresswoman MACe is pushing a block on transgender women using the women's restroom, she says, as part of the House Rules package, and she's working to make the ban go beyond Capitol Hill.
I want to make sure that no men are in women's private spaces, and it's not going to end here. This shouldn't be going on any federal property. If you're a school or an institution that gets government funding, this kind of thing should be banned. I think it's sick, it's twisted.
And there's only one openly transgender woman heading to the Hill, new Representative-elect Sarah McBride of Delaware. MACe has been vocal about how she thinks McBride shouldn't have a say in women's rights. However, Jace Woodrum with the ACLU of SC says MACe's policy is for her own political gain.
Now, I'm a transgender man myself. Where should I use the restroom? My birth certificate says female, but imagine what would happen if I used the women's restroom.
But seriously, I don't understand the backlash for people who just want to be the correct version of themselves and not what you think they should be. Neither does Pete Davidson.
Apparently, this anti-discrimination law was voted down because some people claim it's just an excuse to allow guys in women's restrooms. You know, the theory is that men, in their relentless quest to watch women go to the bathroom, are going through years of hormones, surgery, changing their name, their wardrobe, coming out to their family, all for that big payoff of peeing in a room without urinals. What is this fantasy that they think is going on in there? There's no shirtless pillow fights. There's no disco ball. I grew up with a mom and a sister, so I know a little something about sharing a room, like a bathroom with women. It sucks. Nobody wants to hang out in there. Last week, I accidentally walked in on my mom on the toilet, and I don't think we're ever going to speak again.
Now, as funny as the idea of Reach Around Laurie and this dumpster fire running into a bathroom looking for penises might be, let's remember, this is one of the issues that got the First Lady elected.
Whether the women like it or not.
But why are they so freaked out? Why is DeSantis talking about drag queens every day and not school shootings or climate change? Why can't a teacher talk to a young kid who's overwhelmed with pornography and is afraid to talk to his parents or his clergy for reasons I've already stated? They just want to know what's going on.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
It would be funny if it weren't tragic that a rapist is lecturing us on sexuality. Yeah, I said rapist.
I have absolutely no idea who this woman is.
That's what the judge called Trump after the jury ruled he in fact raped Jean Carroll with his hand in a dressing room.
The transgender thing is incredible. Think of it. Your kid goes to school and comes home a few days later with an operation. The school decides what's going to happen with your child. And you know, many of these childs 15 years later say, what the hell happened? Who did this to me?
Of course that's a lie, but Tiny Finger's followers are theocratic butt swabs who believe the earth is 6,000 years old and that Mary was a virgin.
If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with the woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death.
If you don't like our religion, then we don't want you in our country.
But the anti-trans LGBT backlash began in 2015 when a rash of so-called bathroom bills were proposed in U.S. state legislatures. These bills were designed to prohibit trans people from safely using public restrooms under the presumption they pose some kind of threat to women and children in these spaces. And it hasn't abated, with 7 states passing similar bills in the last 2 years. But, and I hate to do this to you MAGA hillbillies, the actual data demonstrates that trans people do not pose a threat to anyone in public restrooms. 99.7% of sexual attacks in bathrooms were by men, and that includes attacks against men, although Nancy Mace and Reach Around Laurie gave it a shot. The religious right, remember those guys? Well, they also said that gay people were child molesters and pedophiles, and they were out to recruit children. Of course, it was all bullshit, so they moved on to trans. Most of what Trump and MAGA state about trans people is anecdotal, with no basis in fact. So they stopped and began focusing on boys transitioning to females and then beating them in a sport. Is that fair? Probably not. But is that one issue representative of all trans people? The Republican Party won on 2 lies. Immigrants are violent, but they're less violent than citizens by a factor of 10. And 2, trans people want to have sex with your kid, which would be a big no. That would be your Boy Scout leader. Look, there's 1,000 years of men wearing women's clothes and vice versa, from the Greeks to Shakespeare to Monty Python. So why don't you give them a break? Or put on a dress yourself and let your other half speak. Oh, Donnie, I'm so proud of you.
Damn right. This is not a normal election.
Whether the women like it or not.
Suck my fat one. I don't want to talk about this stuff. Am I wrong?
Yeah. They're eating the dogs.
You're an idiot!
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.